let's kick it off here. We have roster review 2024 World Junior Summer Showcase. And I think at this point, anyone that listens to this show, Z, is very familiar with the World Juniors, which comes up around Christmas, Boxing Day, Isha. Explain to everyone, though, like, what is this tournament? What is the Summer Showcase? What's the purpose? What's going on?
Yeah, so that's actually exactly how I was going to start this. And actually, sorry, before I do,
make sure they know it was your idea, not mine.
Yeah, no. That's the plan here. Just real quick though, before I do that, anytime you get a triple IPA or like a 10.5%, that's like I need to feel something tonight. I don't know what it is, but it needs to be emotional. I don't know what. Anger, sadness, couldn't tell you. Happy rage, where I'm just like, I am gonna fuck something up. I'm not really mad at anybody, but it could happen. That's that purchase. You're like, something's happening tonight, and I'm gonna feel something. Anyways, but the Summer Showcase.
I tell you what, if we do a collaboration beer with Barrel Theory, I'll just make it. I just want to feel something.
I need to feel something.
Quadruple IPA.
I have just been feeling gray, and there's just nothing going on. Let me hammer a couple of these 10.5ers. No, but the Summer Showcase happens every year. This year, Canada's come back for the first time in a long time. They usually do not. They literally have their own like Canada versus Canada camp for the World Juniors.
But do we need to be worried then? Like, is this?
I think they're only playing a couple of games.
Hide your kids, hide your wives. Hide your husbands. They're raping everybody up in here. I don't know.
Yeah. I think Canada's like somehow a part of this and only playing like a few like I don't know. I was listening to someone talk about it. I was like, oh fuck, I didn't know Canada was actually coming back. And it was like they made it sound like they're gonna come back for like 2 games.
They still haven't released their roster either. Everyone else has their rosters up, and right now it just says to come.
Yeah, fuck them. But the World Junior Summer Showcase, again, it's exactly what it sounds like. This is like the evaluation period, really the first like long, hard look that you can get at your potential selections for the World Juniors. And like it's literally because like during the season you're obviously not going to get like a 50-person camp. So I think like USA has 46 guys. And with the US team, they'll do like USA like blue and white, and then when it comes to the actual like elimination games, like they combine with the team that's going to be pretty close to like their World Junior roster. And I mean like USA, they're bringing back pretty much the same exact coaching staff, which by the way, what a fucking, what a year. What's his face? Like national championship, World Junior gold medal. He's going to go back and coach him again. Like that guy, he's so fucking young. But they're bringing back the exact same coaching staff. You've got 2 of the goalies coming back. You've got a guy like Ryan Leonard probably going to be the captain of this team. One of the big reasons he did not sign apparently was because he knew he wanted to go back to the World Juniors too, along with like going for that national championship. But if he was going to sign, there's a pretty good chance that like he would be in the NHL, and they probably would not have made him available for the World Juniors.
That's awesome. So let me say, kudos to him for that. America, fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the fact that
helicopter shit.
Also pretty funny in that case that he's also like he plays for the Washington Capitals, like of fucking course. But anyways, this is like it's literally a showcase. So this is where a lot of teams make their evaluations. It's the only time really like because once the season starts, you don't really have any other opportunity outside of like inviting all of these kids to your like pre-tournament camp or whatever. So this is the evaluation period. Again, Canada usually does their own thing, but they will be back this year. And it's always an interesting mix. Like usually there's probably like 4 or 5 guys that might be like eligible for the draft upcoming that get invited or like aren't there but have a chance to make it still. But usually pretty much everyone that's in contention to make Well, everyone that's in contention to like make this team, usually they're at this showcase. So and this year it's going to be, there's plenty of talent.
That feels weird.
All over the place.
Like, but maybe I'm just like not paying enough attention in other years, but I feel like half the team is usually draft eligible. No,
most of it's
for the actual World Junior Championship. He's the third.
No, it's usually just like
the guys. There's one goalie, one defenseman, and 3 forwards out of this ridiculously large roster that are 2025 eligible. That seems really low.
No, it's pretty rare to make. It's hard to make the fucking team as a draft eligible. It's like when you think about the guys that do make that team, usually it's like guys that are going top 10.
How many were on it last year?
William.
I'll look it up. I'll do some research. You keep talking.
But anyways, yeah, no, honestly, like with the World Juniors, it's usually like there's a couple of the guys that go super early that make the teams, especially US and Canada. Like you'll see it a lot more often with like the European teams just because there's like fewer players or whatever. But it's fucking hard to make a World Junior roster for like USA, Canada, back when Russia was fucking playing, Russia, even like Sweden as a draft eligible. Like it usually doesn't happen. Like maybe there's like one guy or 2 guys on a team. This year there's gonna be I think 3 or 4 of like the top guys are gonna be at this showcase. I think Porter Martone for Canada will be there. He should be there. But usually it's like, again, this is like the showcase for the World Juniors, and then the Holinka really kicks off like the draft year. That's the tournament that really gets that started. But obviously this is different because it's like usually all drafted players. Usually it's usually honestly guys that just got drafted. That usually makes up a large portion of the rosters for this showcase anyways.
I stand outrageously corrected. There were 2 draft eligibles for their championship team this year. I would have thought there were at least 6. So
yeah,
I'm out.
Again, it's usually it's the top guys. You know what I mean?
So, okay, tell me though, out of this group, then goalie, I won't make you evaluate, but here's the 4 guys that are draft eligible that are in this camp or this tournament. Logan Hensler.
Yep.
USNTDP out of Minnesota. Not a big deal on defense. At forward, we've got, let's see, Tanner Adams, Providence College. We've got James Hagens. Yeah, he'll be on the team. USNTDP, and he's going to BC. And then LJ Mooney, who Z refuses to ever say nice things about, but he kind of a good player.
I only said nice things about him, but that's okay. And what is actually interesting about those 4 is Tanner Adams is an overager. He's been undrafted. So he is technically eligible again. He's going to, like, I don't even know if so he might not even get drafted next year, and he'll probably get signed out of college, to be honest with you. And he's a fucking good player too. Headed to Providence. I don't think he was there last year, actually. He had a really good year. But those guys, so the one that's gonna be interesting to see, and I was actually listening to, God damn it, who was I was listening to Chris Peters talk about the showcase earlier. LJ Mooney's a fascinating one. Like when you look at his skill set in terms of raw talent, top 10 talent, and it was funny because like the story that he brought up was like he's technically 5'7", and it's like for whatever reason, when you find out at these like combines, whatever, like when the measurements happen, and I forget who it was, which player it was that was like, oh no, he's 5'8", and apparently like half the GMs were like, oh shit, he's 5'8", he's not 5'7". Oh my god, and like they lost their minds and it made a big difference. But in terms of just like raw talent, LJ Mooney, like skill, offensive ability, like he is easily top 10. It's just you look at the size, and then again, like a lot of his plays predicated on like individual play, but like if he could, and he absolutely is good enough to make this team. If he makes this World Junior squad, that is going to give him like a real good shot at staying as a first round draft pick this year. And the fact that he's already at that size with how skilled he is, like the fact that he's already like, even when he played, he was better with the U18s at the NTDP last year than he was with the U17s. Like he was a point per game with the U18 squad. He is legit, man.
Did you see what they listed him at for this tournament? Height and weight?
5'6".
5'6", 150.
Yeah. They're like, fuck,
like if you're 5'6", 150 is not bad. Like he's probably got some meat to him. But yeah. Bummer. I need him to make it.
He is so fucking good. He's so fun to watch, dude. Like he's the kid that's like every time the puck's at his stick, it's like, what is he about? Like he's must watch. Like if he hits, dude, and in the NHL, it's gonna be like he's like, that's why we buy tickets. Like that, like when you're going to the game, it's like, what is he gonna do? Because that's how fucking good he is. And again, like I think at the World Juniors too, he could be a whole lot of fun. Like like a middle six dude. Like that's on the third line. It's like, oh great, there's like a top 5 most skilled player here on their third line. That's great. But the U.S. team is going to be fascinating. Judd'z Budz most likely going to be their number 1 defenseman at the World Juniors this year. And like the thought of him playing with like EJ Emery is so fascinating to me. Where it's like EJ Emery, 6'6", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 200 whatever pounds, just absolute defensive machine. Paired with a guy like Judd'z Budz, who's me flying around the ice, offense, defense, like all of the above.
I just found a name that I can't believe we didn't talk about a year ago. Matt Mania. If anyone's last name is Mania, you can make that real fun. Like, think about it. If you've got like, if it was LJ Mania instead of LJ Mooney, it's like LJ Mania.
We're a big fan.
You're turning the first name into the Mania. It's great.
Oh
man, that's so fun. But yeah, I mean, Williams a shoe-in. From the way everyone's talking about EJ Emery, he's got to be a shoe-in. But I forget how many people are in these rosters. It's like very, very thick right now. And it's like, there's so many good players. How do you even like whittle this down to an actual World Junior roster?
Yeah. And I mean, again, like when you look at the roster on USA Hockey, like their website or whatever, that's the full. Again, they get split into 2 and then they pick for the actual elimination games. But no, USA is poised to be it's going to be them and Canada favorites again. I think with Canada, dude, like what's going to be interesting is a guy like Gavin McKenna, who will not be at the World Junior Summer Showcase for when Canada comes, but he will be at the Holinka. 2026 eligible. He is probably going to fit it. He has a good chance as a 2026 eligible to finish this tournament as a leading point getter. Like he is fucking unbelievable. Like over a point per game at WHL as a double underager last year. Like he is scary. He is insane. He also played for Medicine Hat, so he was playing with Lindstrom and Andrew Basha, 2 of my favorite players in last year's draft. But he lit it up at the U18s. He's phenomenal, so it'll be fun to watch him at the whole link anyways. But he's got a very good chance of making that Canada roster. Well, he's going to make that Canada. There's no chance he doesn't make it because he's already one of the best players on the planet.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk then about, I guess, more recently, your go-to nation. Under smart, I won't say hard, but smart with an R, hockey. Team Sweden. A lot of familiar names now that you talk to me about a lot of them so very often, but how do they stack up in this group? Because like you said, it's USA and Canada's tournament to win. Like, is Sweden right there knocking at the door, or are they a little bit off?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably put... So it's interesting. Like, their roster for this tournament this year, like, is kind of similar to just, like, this past draft year, like, as a whole. Like, there are a handful of guys that are going to be looked at as, like, no, this is one of the best players internationally, like, with this age group. maybe not. Like they only have like one or two guys. Like, yeah, no, this guy legitimately like he is like top draft pick, whatever. But they just have it's like they're a team of like second line forwards, second pair D men, and like it just screams consistency. So it's going to be a very, very good team. And I mean, they have also got like at least one. Let me see. They've got a couple guys who've been passed over the last couple drafts that I was like shocked by. I still don't know how some of them went undrafted, but they've also got, let's see, Victor Eklund, who's eligible at 25. Like him a ton.
Is he related to Slippery Pete?
Sadly not. But we can tell everyone that he is.
Unslippery Dave. That's what we're gonna call him.
Yeah, we like that. And then like, so they've got some of those guys, and then they've got just a bunch of players who I really, really liked for like second or third round picks, especially this past year. Like Lucas Pettersson, Leo Salimulanius, let's see, Luke Pettersson, Melvin Fernstrom. I thought Mons Torres was going to get drafted this year. He went
your boy Otto Stenberg's on the list.
Stenberg's there, yep. Simon Zetter. Like they've just got a bunch of solid players up and down the lineup.
Some bum named Tom Willander. I don't know.
Yeah, heard of him.
Never matter. Awesome name for a draft eligible here that if they end up being decent, you're going to have to tell me if they're even going to be on the radar for like top 3 rounds. But Svante Shodin. What a name.
So I actually don't even know which year he was. So the cutoff day for like the draft is September 15th, and his birthday is September 15th. But he's an 05, so he would have been.
Oh, so he got passed off.
Overage. Yeah, but he's another solid fucking player. Like decent size, right in the middle 6. Probably like, again, like I've always liked him. It's like since just like tracking the J20, like he always produces. But again, like Sweden they're doing it's like even when they don't have a ton of like their top guys, or like this past year, again, like we talked about this, like there was no like legit Swedes that went in the first round. And Anton Frondell, who will be challenging James Hagens for first overall, he will not be at this tournament. He will be at the Holinka. And he's going to torch the Holinka, by the way, just as everyone gets ready. That's in a couple weeks.
Is there a reason he's not at the tournament? Like, is that just like, oh, he like couldn't or didn't want to, or?
They always go like either older. He also recovered. I think he's healthy again, but he missed a big chunk of last year with a foot injury. And I think he personally also was just more interested in the Holinka than the actual like World Junior Summer Showcase. I would imagine he makes that World Juniors team though. If he's not playing pro next year, which he will probably split between the Allsvenskan and the J20. But he will be, much like Gavin McKenna, he's going to be at the Holinka, and they're both going to be ripping apart that tournament. So again, I would have loved if he was at this one, because at this point, like as we get more familiar with the 2025 class, Frondell is going to be, I mean, right now he's consensus top 3 and one of the 3 guys challenging first overall. Hagens is obviously in the lead, like pretty much consensus, but him, Porter Martone are going to be challenging Hagens for sure. But again, Sweden, it's just like, no matter, even if they have like a down year in terms of like a draft class, it's like they have so many guys that are just so reliable, so good. Like I love the way that like their development, like kind of like just program, I guess, works overall, where it's like they have a bunch of guys who play a really good 2-way game. Some of them are really flashy offensively, but they all like, you can throw them over the boards in any situation and they will perform. Yeah. And that's just like, it's a team that you fucking hate playing against, a team like Team Sweden. Like it's unbelievable. So
I think that's them and Finland, but got to do a shameless plug here. We just had most recent Swedish captain for the World Junior Championship team, Liam Ugren, on Fellowship of the Rank. Kid's awesome. Definitely does not lack confidence. It's funny, just 1 or 2 times he definitely has to grasp for the English word of what he's trying to say, but the kid is awesome. And I think Z and I are on the same page here that we very much hope / borderline almost expect him to be vying for that spot on the second line, worst case third line.
Vying for sure.
Yeah, vying. There we go. That's all we need. Because there aren't any Minnesota prospects that are invitees here, right? Nope.
Not for Sweden.
Not a one. But we do have some on the other side of Scandinavia in Finland. And there's some sweet names over here, but you gotta do some justice for the people and give us the 2 Minnesotans first and foremost.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we've talked on this podcast so often about Rasmus Kumpalainen. He will be there. Obviously, he's playing pro in Finland this year. I'm very excited to watch him there. But like, again, I don't really think he could have gone wrong either way. I do like that he's playing pro hockey because the OHL at this point, like, again, still one of the best development leagues in the world as far as like junior hockey goes. But anytime like they have an opportunity to play pro hockey, especially in Finland, where like that's a hard fucking league. Like I talked about this before, like especially putting up offense there is incredibly difficult. And Kumpalainen is just like a fascinating player in general, where it's like the speed isn't there, but somehow extremely successful in transition, and the skill is just through the roof. So I think he actually, and on a good Pelicans, that's a good team, great name. I think he's gonna fare quite well over there. He's got the size, the skill combo, and just like the overall play, how he plays like absolutely fits that league anyways. But like anytime you can play pro hockey before you step in the NHL, I think it's a good thing. So I like that he's going over there. I know Oshawa was not happy. Like they are upset that he is not there this year because he's a big part of that team, big part of their top six. And he probably would have been quite successful this year for Oshawa. So I know they're bummed out that he's not playing the O, but yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to expect from him here. Like Finland, it's just typical Finnish team where they've got a couple like top guys, but like they play that pain in the ass style where it's just like they want to clog it in the neutral zone, very defensive, extremely physical. So kind of like a nightmare for like teams that are predicated mostly on skill. And again, like Kumpalainen's always performed quite well when he gets a good look. It gets good minutes for Finland. So that'll be interesting. But like, again, I said this before, I really am interested in tracking Sweeney this year. Sebastian Sweeney, fifth round pick this year. The rare right shot defenseman in this prospect pool. He's gonna be playing in Liga again this year, probably full time. I probably would have preferred that he played like junior hockey last year instead of playing in the Messies and like the AHL version of Finnish pro hockey over there. I don't know. He has all the tools in the world, and the fact that he's a right shot makes him so intriguing. I think he was just a little bit over his skis a bit playing in that league last year. I would have preferred that he played like U20 because he looked pretty good playing against his peers. But that's the one guy, and especially like with the World Junior Summer Showcase, like Sweeney's I'll be honing in on specifically for the Minnesota Wild prospect pool for sure. Because I think he's got so many, again, like all the tools in the world that makes him so intriguing. That's why they took him in the 5th round. And a guy with that kind of profile probably should go earlier. It's just like he hasn't had much hockey playing against his own peers. So it'll be interesting to watch him for sure.
I just got to throw out some absolutely incredible names. Some of them have been drafted the last 1 or 2 years, but a handful that have not for all name consideration. We've got Viti Luhivara, Jimmy Junkari, Nico Korkala, Mitya Jokinen, Arttu Tukala. That's all just fantastic. But then my 2 favorite, we've got Arttu Alasirua in Mnemone.
Alasuria, yeah.
What a name. And then drafted 2 years ago, apparently, that I missed, Visa Vedenpa.
Well, they got your boy. Seventh rounder in 2023, Callie Kangas.
Callie Kangas. And, hey, can't forget Emil Pienaniemi.
A+. Big fan of Heike Ronan. Big fan, by the way. Just saying. Flyers draft pick. One of the few that I was like, that's a really good player. Where they drafted him, everything feels right about this pick. Like him a lot. And I mean, Atos Koivu. Come on. Obviously, love him.
Have to. It's the rules. Anyone else you want to touch on here, or are we wrapping up / talking about the mythical soon-to-come Canada roster?
Yeah, that's about it. Again, like, just looking at this roster, it's like, yeah, this team's going to be really annoying to play against, even if they don't have, like, the top end slash. Like, it's just like, God damn it.
Yep. All right. Canada. I feel like that has to be said, right? I can't tell if Mateo is being, like, facetious here, but Kiviharu does not belong to any of these nations, so no, he will not be participating. Also, how are media people still pronouncing it Kiviharju?
They can't help themselves.
How hard is it to learn someone's name? I don't know. It's okay. But yeah, he is not Finnish. He plays in the Finnish league, not Finnish. What is he? Swiss?
Finnish.
No, he's not.
Who are you thinking of?
What?
Yeah.
Dude. No, he's Danish. Shut your mouth. I just looked it up. He's from Denmark, you dipshit.
Look where he plays. Look at the international league he plays on.
But that's not where he's from.
He plays for. At no point has ever played for Denmark.
But he's from Denmark. True or false? Is he from Denmark?
No, not really.
Where was he born?
Finland. I don't know.
Denmark, Finland is where he was born. All right.
Hell
well,
yeah.
Mateo, apparently he's played for Finland, but he is not Finnish. Aaron Kiviharju is a Danish-born... Wait, what is a Danish-born Finnish ice hockey defenseman? What does that mean?
I think he, like, literally lived... I think he was born there and then immediately moved to Finland.
Military, baby. Got it.
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, why isn't he on the list then?
Good question. I would have thought this would have been, like, a very good opportunity for him to, like, play international hockey again and, like, really get his name back on. So, I don't know.
Just wait now. All the comments are going to be, Judd Brackett and Bill Guerin fucked it up again. 4th round.
They really...
Should have been a 6th rounder. You can't even make the summer showcase team for Finland. God damn it.
They really reached in the fourth round there.
All right. My only 2 questions for Canada, because it's really all that I care about, is do you think Canada has the balls to leave Riley Heidt at home again? If he's available?
Yeah, he won't be playing. He's not playing in this turn. He will not be playing this turn.
No. Oh, okay. Well, for World Juniors then, if he's not playing for the Wild, is there any chance he's not on the World Junior roster?
I don't know, because, like, Canada always, like, galaxy brains their roster. And I mean, it's worked out for them before. But, like, we saw a couple years ago, they left Lambos off the roster because they wanted a defense core of guys that were, like, 6'3", 6'4", mixed in with, like, their one ultra skilled defenseman. Like, they do this every year, and, like, I get it, but, like,
but
so
Canada
wouldn't shock me.
Based on their performance last year and the season that he had and the scrutiny immediately that he was left off, like, I feel like it would be really hard to not include him. I don't know. It'd be hilarious, and I would prefer it because I don't want Canada to win, so I love Riley Heidt. I do not want him playing in the World Juniors. And then tell me, shoe-in or not for my boy over in Pittsburgh to be part of the roster?
Jaeger? Oh yeah, he is absolutely going to be a shoo-in. He will be in their top 6. He's going to be one of their go-to guys.
Will he be in the top 3?
Probably. I mean, off the top of my head, yeah, most likely. He'll probably have a letter too. Because I don't think he's going to be playing in Pittsburgh this year. Like,
I wouldn't think so.
Right. So I do think he's going to be wearing a letter for them. He's going to be one of their go-to guys for sure. But yeah, no, Braden Yeager should be, again, like absolutely. He could even be wearing the C. Who knows? But we'll see. Nailed it. Didn't mean to. But yeah, he'll be there for sure.
Actually, wait. Pickering's a Canadian too, right?
Yeah.
He gonna be there?
Probably.
Love that.
I'm curious to see what the actual roster looks like for Canada this, because like I don't think they take this very seriously. What they do take, they will be the overwhelming favorite for is the Holinka. That's where they all of them want that tournament. And the US, that's mid to late August, so like another 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks. And the thing with the Holinka, like the USN TDP, that like they don't go there. So like last year, like Trevor Connolly ripped it up for the US team. So that's like where all the USHL guys go. So it's always like a pretty underdog roster for like the US, but Canada comes in every single year as the overwhelming favorite. I think it was 2 years ago. I think they like Team Canada scored like 50 something goals in 6 games and gave up like 3. And I think they were trailing for 17 seconds total. No, sorry. They were never trailing. They were tied for 17 seconds. Like that was the most amount of time that they were not winning a game. Like every game they scored. It was a joke. Like they ripped everybody apart. It was unbelievable. But that's them every fucking year. And once again, unfortunately, in terms of pure hockey, like, you know, fuck them. But like Russia will not be there again. So like for 2025, Ivan Ryabkin, who's the top 5, probably consensus at this point, not going to see him at any international tournaments. So that sucks, but is what it is.